Hello. Before we get started on our presentation today, I thought it was really important for you to understand the standards that we're going to be talking about. All the standards in this presentation are recommended by INICL, which is the International Association for K-12 Online Education. They're the gold standard for what online education should look like, and our blended program for math should meet their standards. So as we go through today, you're going to hear me referring to several of the different standards that INICL has put up by letter. And we're actually going to start with G. So I'm going to scroll down there really fast for you. Um, Maybe actually we're starting at E. I'm sorry about that. So we're going to start with E, which is talks about ethical guidelines, and you'll see that in our first slide. But while each of my slides is just telling you what the standard is, I really kind of wanted to get you familiar here with the INICL website so that you can actually go in yourself, see what the standards are, and see what's expected of you as a teacher. So, for instance, here with Standard E, the standard itself is pretty short. It just says the online teacher models, guides, and encourages legal, ethical, and safe behavior related to technology use. We will talk about this standard later in the presentation, but we're only going to deal with that one statement. And what I want you to see is that if you're interested, you can actually go in and see more detail in what this is going to look like for you as a teacher. So it tells you the things that you need to know as an online or blended teacher, and it tells you the abilities or things that you need to do in order to make sure that you're meeting these standards. If we cannot meet the INICL standards, we shouldn't have a blended program for our math teachers. A lot of times there's misconception about what a blended or online teacher should do and what their responsibilities are. And I, Nicole, has done a really nice job of laying out what you need to know in order to be a good teacher, and then those things that you need to do to follow up on it. So for instance, most good teachers know about how to use technology and that students need to be academically honest, right? None of us want plagiarism or copied work in our classes. But how does an online teacher go about doing that, right? An online teacher needs to be able to identify the risks, that are specific to online. How can an online teacher model those good uses of intellectual property? So it's important that you see that just because you're teaching a blended class for our math classes, if we choose to go with the Khan Academy, you still need to be a good teacher. You still need to be a good role model for your students. Just to give you kind of another example, let's look at standard F. The online teacher is cognizant of the diversity of student academic needs and incorporates accommodations into the online environment. Well, we all see this in our classrooms every day, right? We have students who are English language learners. We have students from maybe not as academically rich backgrounds. We have students from other countries. We have an entire array, a rainbow of different types of students. We have students with 504 plans and IEPs. Well, those don't go away just because the students are taking a blended class. Just because their path is individualized by Khan Academy doesn't mean that you as a teacher aren't still responsible for making sure that that student's accommodations that are needed are being met. So it's important that as you go through the different Khan Academy lessons, and you should know what is in each one of your lessons that you give your students, you think about that student and what they might need. And in my second video, I'm going to kind of talk about how you as a teacher are going to be a value added to the Khan Academy. So again, I just want you to know that you can go to INACOL, which is INACOL.org, and look at these standards for yourself and really question yourself as, did I know this? And if I did know this, do I have the ability to fulfill these needs to become a blended teacher? Because not everyone is cut out for that. So before we jump wholeheartedly into a new program, I want to make sure that our teachers are ready to take on the the new role that they're going to have as kind of a mentor through this program.